Hey everyone, it's Tyler, and today I want to tell you a story about a man named Eldridge Cleaver. Now, if you're wondering, well, I have no idea who that guy is, neither did I until a couple of weeks ago when I was reading in my book called The 5,000 Year Leap by Cleon Skousen. By the way, incredible book. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. But I came across his name because in the mid-1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement, there were a group of Marxist agitators who moved into the Black Panthers movement who were advocating for direct action by violence. One of those men was Eldridge Cleaver, who was trained, obviously, in Marxist philosophy and tactics while he was serving his prison sentence in California for 15 years. After Eldridge Cleaver was released from prison, he started writing books, and in those books, he describes his rationale behind his philosophy of violence. It was simply to disrupt and destroy the economic systems and social systems of the United States so that eventually blacks could be free under an American communist regime. So the violence started getting worse and worse until the summer of 1968, hundreds of cities in America were burning. Does that sound familiar? The idea was to put blacks in direct confrontation with the police, with state militia, in order so that they would form a racial bloc or form the apparent need for a racial bloc because there was going to be a coming revolution. But guess what? The burnings and the chaos totally backfired. Blacks finally started to realize that, wait, the only cities that are actually burning or the only homes that are burning are our homes. Anyway, during all of the violence and the chaos, Eldridge Cleaver was actually wounded in one of these shootouts in Oakland. He ended up fleeing to Cuba and then to other communist regimes. So all of this violence and chaos ended up having a total backfire and totally set back the progress that was being made of blacks in America for equal rights. After almost 8 years in exile in these communist regimes, Eldridge Cleaver ended up returning to the United States with a totally changed heart. He came back and said, I'm willing to do literally anything just to come back to the United States. I'll serve whatever I need to do, whatever. And he's known as quoting and saying, I would rather be in jail in America than free anywhere else. There's also a quote from Eldridge Cleaver that I would like to read. It's a little bit long, so I'm going to read it from my computer. It says, I was wrong, and the Black Panthers were wrong. We, Black Americans, are inside the system, and I feel that the number one objective for Black America is to recognize that they have the same equal rights under the Constitution as Ford or Rockefeller, even if we have no blue chip stocks. But our membership in the United States is the supreme blue chip stock, the one that we have to exercise. I love that quote from Eldridge Cleaver because it shows that yes, some of us are born with different privileges. Some of us may be trust fund babies. Some of us may not have had a dad in our household growing up. There are different privileges and different circumstances into which we're born, but we are all born into America under the same Constitution which promises equal rights to every single citizen. So with this change of heart, Eldridge Cleaver ended up spending the rest of his life going to universities, churches all over the country at different speaking events, trying to tell people, do not be convinced by this Marxist philosophy. It simply denies people their human rights and their human dignity. He assured them that after a patient pursuit of the truth, you would eventually realize that America is good, that the Constitution does promise our equal rights, and those rights come from God Himself. So anyway, guys, I thought that was a super relevant story to our time today, considering that the Black Lives Matter founder herself, Patrisse Cullors, just came out and said that they've been trained specifically in Marxist philosophy and tactics. Guys, I'm here to tell you that the answer is not Marxism, not communism, not socialism, not even another government program. Guys, it's ourselves. We can make ourselves better. We've been granted the freedom from God Himself and under the Constitution of the United States. The freedom to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So let's make the best use of it.